In the 80s, over in the States, Linda Hamilton became a big deal for playing Sarah Connor. In Hollywood, during the Cold War era and the sci-fi boom, the story put an everyday woman on the big screen. She starts out scared, but turns into a trainer, a strategist, and her son's protector. That's when a lot of people said, "Now we're talking, for real." In the 90s, Pamela Anderson became a symbol of American TV by playing C.J. Parker on a beach series that was on everywhere. Right in the middle of primetime culture, the red uniform and the rescues helped export a California way of life. The fame jumped off the screen and into the headlines. No permission needed. In 1961, at the U.S. Naval Base in Argentia, Newfoundland, a young Marine got into the moment and danced the twist with Jane Mansfield. She was on a tour to boost troop morale at a time when the world was talking about the Cold War. Out in the icy Atlantic for a few minutes, the routine of duty turned into a show night. In 1982, Vanna White joined Wheel of Fortune and became a regular presence in American living rooms. While the host ran the game, she walked the board, turning letters that decided prizes and the contestants' fate. In the VCR era, it was simple family TV, and everyone talked about it the next day. In the 20s, on Ivy League campuses, fashion said a lot about social status in the chilly fall. A lot of guys showed up in raccoon fur coats, an item that basically said, "I made it." Between jazz, fraternities, football games, and the economic boom, that look helped mark territory in the hallways without saying a word. In the U.S. in the late 60s, TV turned into a pop playground. Adam West as Batman, Burt Ward as Robin, and Yvonne Craig as Batgirl. Right in the space race era, a lot of families watched that after dinner. Between Piawu and over-the-top villains, the message was simple: do the right thing, respect the law, and protect the city. No drama. By the late 19th century, in a bunch of U.S. cities, some women became human billboards. In the Victorian era, they walked down Main Street with signs, ribbons, and samples, calling attention to new stuff from shops and department stores. It was marketing before radio, on the sidewalk, near the station and the Saturday foot traffic, fighting for every penny. In 1984, New York had to hit pause on a giant symbol. The Statue of Liberty went into major construction. Rust, structure, and details were checked over, with scaffolding covering the harbor, and visits were shut down for almost 2 years. When it reopened on July 4, 1986, it was America's comeback for real. In Luzesti, in the Trikala region, out in the Greek countryside, a shopkeeper was known for being old school. He picked fruit and cheese like it was for his own family. Early at the market, sharp knife, accurate scale. When the customers were kids, he tried even harder and sometimes tossed in an extra little piece just to see the smile. In 1980, Dolly Parton was in the perfect spot between Nashville and Hollywood. She landed the movie 9 to 5 and a song that became an anthem for people who punch the clock and keep the bills paid. Between interviews, tours, and nonstop radio play, she proved you can be huge without forgetting regular folks, and that hit America right in the heart. In 1979, with no streaming, Sci-Fi brought the whole family into the living room. Buck Rogers cast Dorothy Stratton as Miss Cosmos. The story talked about perfection built into genes at a time when space and the lab were bar talk, and a lot of people felt both fascination and a warning about made-to-order stuff on broadcast TV in prime time. Berlin, 1905. With strict etiquette and a lot of eyes on them, a couple decided to turn themselves into a show. On roller skates, they did laps, jumps, and tight crossovers, like a waltz on wheels. Before that, respectable fun meant sitting down. Here it was sweat and boldness. Newspapers talked and families argued on every corner about whether it was art or a scandal. Stockholm, 1976. Swedish fashion treated the street like a runway. Guldenblå jeans and satin pants showed up together saying hard work and the weekend could live in the same closet. In tight money times, the message was durability with a clean look. Downtown proved casual could still be disciplined, no drama. New York, summer 1983. On 14th Street, guys walked like they ran the block, boombox on their shoulder and the volume up. It was more than music, news, identity, and a message to silence. Between the subway, graffiti, and a packed corner, the sound became a flag. People walking by got it. Nobody there asked permission to exist. Period. In 1966, Natalie Wood became Penelope in a modern Hollywood tale, with humor and romance without getting cheesy. A strange curse flips the character's life, and Wood carries it all with sharp delivery and real presence. The audience saw fantasy, but also some very real insecurity. It was a drive-in movie, something you'd watch and talk about over coffee the next day. In the summer of 1947, in Laconia, New Hampshire, motorcycle folks packed the streets in that post-war vibe. Dot Robinson, who helped build the Motormaids, showed up with her daughter Betty, 15. Between veterans, rumbling engines, and trackside talk, they reminded everyone that freedom on the road doesn't belong to anyone. For real. In 1931, the German Wilhelm Tobian crossed the Netherlands on an assignment for a famous American magazine, show how people lived outside the capitals. He stopped in villages, markets, and along canals, noted everyday gestures, and captured local clothes that still told each region's story, thread by thread. In a tough time, that got attention. In 1912, at Potomac Park in Washington, D.C., pilot Tony Janis took Lenore Rivero up in one of those open planes that looked flimsy but had people holding their breath. She was the daughter of the Cuban minister to the U.S. and tied down her skirt so it wouldn't turn into a sail. With the propeller hand-started, that flight became talk for a long time. In 1967, Sophia Loren signed on for a curious project, the last film directed by Charlie Chaplin. The story takes place almost entirely on a ship, where she plays Natasha, a Russian aristocrat with no papers who hides in the cabin of an American played by Marlon Brando. Between knocks on the door and settling scores, the charm carries the story. In 1922, at Charlie Chaplin Studios in Hollywood, the king of silent film welcomed Anna Pavlova, the great Russian ballerina. It was a meeting of two arts. He wanted to understand the rhythm of the stage, and she watched how the camera cut movement. Chaplin walked away thinking movies still didn't know how to hold all the lightness of ballet. Really. In 1951, in Ithaca, NY, a Cornell Home EC class went to the lab and did hands-on training with professional-grade washing machines, technology that was taking off after the war. Between parts, cycles, and maintenance, they saw how that know-how would lighten everyday life and spread laundromats around the neighborhood. Around 1900 in Jackson, Mississippi, a Coca-Cola delivery wagon rolled down Main Street like a moving ad. Bottles came out of the ice and went from store to store, and folks talked about the taste at the counters. The logistics came through trains and warehouses, and the South watched mass distribution take shape, face to face, right in the neighborhood. In 1963, Hollywood went all in on Cleopatra and cast Elizabeth Taylor as the Queen of Egypt. Between palaces, Rome, and dangerous alliances, the epic became talk everywhere. With a massive production, delays, and record-breaking costs for the time, the movie proved that film is also politics, fame, and risk under the spotlight for real. In 1983, Motorola released the Dynatac 8000X, the first cell phone regular people could buy. It was huge and cost a fortune, but it let you make wireless calls on the street or in the car. Big deal style. Executives, brokers, and even service crews started testing that freedom. And the mobile race kicked off right there. In 2000, Malena brought Monica Bellucci to the screen as the most talked-about woman in a town in Sicily during World War II. A boy watches from a distance while the men judge and the rumors grow. Between rationing, occupation, and silence in the town square, the story shows how desire and fear crush ordinary people for real.